Another year.
90 years.
Let's stop there. Do you remember that smile?
Yes, it's been present in many moments of her life.
Let's go back to 1933. Elvira is on the verge of being born, and in Spain, society was already reliant on the support of charitable and social work.
But this goes much further back, doesn't it?
Indeed. The first references date back to the 15th century, with the appearance of cooperatives, charity or compassion funds. The common denominator of which was to allow the most vulnerable classes access to finance, avoiding usury. These funds preceded the Montes de Piedad, which appeared in Spain in the 18th century. In 1702, Father Piqué founded Monte de Piedad in Madrid, which became the model for the whole country. Consequently, the Montes spread, and thanks to them, loans were made available to those most in need. As early as the 19th century, savings banks were officially established with the aim of improving the lives of the disadvantaged classes, relying on the culture of savings, which was seen as a means of welfare and economic improvement.
How exciting! But what does this have to do with Elvira?
True. Let's go back to Elvira, who has just been born. We are in the 20th century, a century in which a new idea is beginning to take shape. Savings banks will finance charitable and social work with their surpluses in order to improve the welfare of individuals and the development of their community.
And Elvira?
Elvira reaches her youth and has to adapt to difficult post-war times, and so does Obra Social, whose projects reach those parts of society not covered by the state, responding to the social needs of the time.
What important work even back then.
Yes, Obra Social played a key role. These years saw the creation of social and welfare infrastructures such as hospitals, schools, social housing, vocational training centers, libraries, nurseries, etc.
And how did Elvira fare?
Very well. She married Juan. The 1960s marked the beginning of a period of economic prosperity in Spain and for families like Elvira's. And with the improvement of society's welfare, Obra Social focused on cultural and research projects, bringing culture to society as a whole, to towns and cities, without abandoning the most vulnerable groups.
This lasted almost until the turn of the century, didn't it?
Well, the turn of the century brought a fundamental change for everyone. As in 2002 we switched from the peseta to the euro. The role of savings banks was crucial in this transition, thanks to their capillarity throughout the country. And so we arrive in the year 2007, where a global economic crisis began, leading to a restructuring of the banking system.
And 6 years later, the financial map was recomposed with Spanish law on savings banks and banking foundations, which ushered in a new cycle.
Let's stop in 2013. That same year, Elvira had her first grandson.
This also coincides with the birth of a new map of foundations in Spain.
Foundations that continue to focus on those most in need, and have continued to promote Obra Social projects throughout the country over the last 10 years, thanks to their capillarity and ability to adapt to the needs of each moment.
So during the pandemic, Obra Social became the vaccine against inequality, addressing the most basic needs from the outset.
And they have also been present in natural catastrophes, such as Filomena, the volcanic eruption in La Palma, or those caused by humans, such as the war in Ukraine.
Without forgetting our elders and the needs of rural areas.
All this thanks to the human and volunteer teams behind each project. Their commitment to transparency, the improvement of efficiency, the drive to professionalize their teams and boards, as well as the strengthening of alliances to take Obra Social to every corner of the country.
A major endeavor over the last 10 years, made possible thanks to the passion, effort and teamwork of the people behind Obra Social.
A total of 7.8 billion euros has been allocated to this work, which has been used to implement more than 930,000 activities, reaching more than 31 million people each year. Let's return to 2023. Elvira celebrates her 90th birthday surrounded by her big family.
What would you highlight from this year?
For example, once again this year, Obra Social has proved to be of vital importance for social, economic and cultural development, supporting the most vulnerable with their social and welfare programs. By committing to progress through education and research as tools for social empowerment, without forgetting culture and heritage as a driving force for personal development and social integration, always focusing on the most vulnerable and looking after future generations, our children and young people, supporting groups at risk of exclusion, people with special needs, fostering entrepreneurship and employment, and caring for our elders. Obra Social has allocated €851 million to this end in 2023, which was used to implement more than 80,000 activities, reaching more than 30 million beneficiaries.
The next challenge will be to take Obra Social around the world and raise awareness of this great work with the help of our partners in international forums.
Because coming together is the beginning. Staying together is progress. Working together is success. Like the birthdays of Elvira and her descendants, who still have a lot to live for.
Obra Social, for many more years to come.